Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining today. We wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Shyam Sundar, Radha Madhav, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gauritai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So we continue with the Sanatana Dharma course. We have looked at an introduction and the various scriptures which are contained within Vedic philosophy. And yesterday we looked at the Vedic conception of time, which is just incredible. Today I wanted to look at Ishwara. So, does God exist? Common question, especially in the West, but now everywhere actually. Does God exist? So, this is something from the scientists, the world's leading scientists. This universe came into existence out of nothing. This is what they believe. However, because nothing is inherently unstable, something had to come from it. And what came from it was the universe that surrounds us. This is a logic which is applied by the leading scientists of our world as to the existence of the universe. So, common arguments by the atheists. Now, we may not be atheists, but we come across many who do not believe in the existence of God. So it's good to know what are their arguments, so that we ourselves don't get fooled by the arguments, and we can also try to convince others that this is not quite right. Can't see God, so he doesn't exist, right? That's one of the claims of the atheists. Can't see God, so he doesn't exist. But the scientists are regarded to be like a frog in the well. This is quite an interesting example. The frog in the well was one day visited by the frog who came from the ocean. And the frog in the well asked the frog from the ocean, how big is the ocean? Is it 10 times bigger than this well? No, much bigger. 100 times bigger. No, much bigger. 1,000,000 times bigger. No, much bigger. And the frog couldn't understand, because the frog in the well couldn't understand the size of the ocean. So in the same way, we are like frogs in the well. We don't understand how big the universe, the world, spiritual world is. But we try to speculate. Oh, it must be this big, according to our concept, our conceptions. Another common argument is everything happens by chance. This is the Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory. So, a famous philosopher, French philosopher, Jacques Monod, he wrote in 1970 a book on chance. Everything existing in the universe is the fruit of chance and necessity. And he even won a Nobel Peace Prize for his work. Now, it's actually a totally blind process, can by definition lead to anything. It can even lead it to vision itself. This is the logic they apply. Right? Now, the argument sometimes is that, life comes as a result of survival of the fittest. And this was Darwin's theory, survival in his Origin of Species. So what they basically try to say is this bear, if he if he keeps his mouth open for a long enough period of time, he'll eventually turn into a whale. Right? That's how effectively this evolution, the process of evolution, would work. But Darwin also said, to suppose that the eye could have been formed by evolution seems, I freely confess, absurd in the highest degree. And this is in a letter to one of his students. So the eye, for example, is so complex. I mean, we don't even know how complex. You have to ask an eye surgeon or a specialist optician how complex the eye is. There's no way it can be just made from some, evolution that species evolve from one to another. There's a scientist called Frederick Hoyle who actually coined this term, Big Bang Theory, because when he first heard it, big explosion in this fantastic order, he couldn't believe it. So he called it the Big Bang Theory. And he was mocking the scientific community, although he was a scientist himself. But of course, he got a little bit vilified by doing that. But later on, this Big Bang term got attributed to him. But what does he think? We must now admit to ourselves that the probability of life arising by chance, by evolution, is the same probability of throwing 6 in dice 5 million times consecutively. So when you throw like a dice, with 6 on it, 6 is, if we throw that 5 million times, how many times will that come as 6? Not every time, not 100%, no chance. So he's saying there's no way life came by chance. And he says something a little bit more interesting. He says, let's be scientifically honest with ourselves. The probability of having life arise to greater and greater complexity and organization by chance is the same probability of having a tornado tear through a junkyard and form at the other end a Boeing 747. So if we went to a rubbish tip and a tornado passed through that, and at the end of the tornado there was a big 747, Boeing 747, what's the chances of that? Impossible. So that's what he's saying. The chances of life coming out of a big bang and by chance is 0. No need for God anymore. This is what the atheists say, because everything is now explained. Science can explain everything. You can explain this tsunami. You can explain the earthquakes. Everything is explained by. So science has taken the place of God. And if God exists, why is there suffering in this world? Right? That's a reasonably good question. If God is really there, how come there's suffering in this world? So there's an example of one man went to a barber's shop, and the barber was cutting his hair, but the barber was arguing with him that there is no God. There is no God. So this man, he didn't want to argue too much, but he said, why do you think there's no God? Because look, why is there so much suffering? Why is that beggar in the street? Why is there so much suffering in this world? If there was a God, there wouldn't be suffering. So the man had his hair cut, he left, and then he came back to the barber shop screaming, opened the door, he was screaming, hey, there's no barbers in this world. There's no barbers. And the barber said, what do you mean? I'm here. No, you can't be here. Why? Because there's so many people with long hair, men with long hair. There can't be any barbers in this world. So the barber said, no. It's just he doesn't want his hair cut. That's why he's got long hair. So in the same way, the man who was in the barber shop, he said to the barber, yes, God is there. There is suffering as well. But when people don't turn to God, then the suffering continues. Just like when people don't want to come to you to get their hair cut, their hair grows long. So this is an interesting point. Yes, there is suffering in this world. Of course there is suffering. It's partly to do with us because we've done karma so that it has an impact on us in the future, perhaps. But also, if we approach God, if we take shelter of God, any bad karma can be counteracted. There doesn't need to be any unhappiness. But if we don't take shelter of God, of course, there's going to be unhappiness. Now, Arthur Ashe, he was the first black player to win Wimbledon. And he was dying of cancer. And one of his fans asked him, why has God selected you to have such a disease? So then Arthur Ashe gave the reply. All over the world, there's 50 million children who start playing tennis, and 5 million actually learn how to play it properly. 500,000 learn professional tennis. 50,000 enter the professional circuit. And out of the 50,000, 5,000 may reach the Grand Slams, out of which 50 reach Wimbledon. 4 make it to the semi-final, 2 to the final. And he said, while I was holding the cup, I never asked God, why me? So today I'm in pain, but why should I ask God, why me? This is a really nice point. When we are happy, do we ask God, oh, why am I happy? Of course, when we're unhappy, we always say to God, hey, what have I done wrong? So this is an interesting point. God was introduced, this is an argument by the atheists, to make people moral. So if God wasn't there, then people may not act so, within the moral codes of society. So there might be some truth in that. Out of fear of God, sometimes people behave in a proper way. But it doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. Even if we believe in God, it's important to analyze all these points, because that will make our faith grow stronger. Better understanding also means that we aren't just sentimentally believing God. Oh, yes, there is God. Just sentimental. No, we should actually understand the reasons why we believe God exists. That way we can also convince others. So what are the counter-arguments? Creation means creator. The one who painted the Mona Lisa didn't, Leonardo da Vinci, didn't just throw some paint at a canvas. He actually painted, has a creator. This painting was painted by an artist, right? David Copenhagen. It wasn't that he just threw some paint up in the air and this beautiful painting arose. It has a creator. Similarly, who is the artist behind our creation, our bodies, our material nature, beautiful flowers that arise, that come? Just do they come out of accident? That would be foolish to believe that. There's a creator behind the beauty all around us in this world. Also, do you know of any building that didn't have a builder or an architect or a designer? Do you know of any painting that didn't have a painter? Do you know of any car that didn't have a maker? So if that's the case with our world, what about the whole creation? There's such fantastic order in this world. It has to have a creator. Can laws exist without a lawmaker? So one time, Sir Isaac Newton, he was actually a godly scientist, believing in God. He was a believer of God. So one day he called his scientist friends to his home, and he made a replica of the universe, the planetary system. Oh, and all the scientists said, wow, this is fantastic. How long did you take it to make it? And he said, no problem. I just threw up some stones in the air and this wonderful creation took place. Oh, that's not possible. So then Isaac Newton said, well, that's exactly the point. This creation has come about by somebody putting in some order. And that order belongs to the hand of God. So in that way, he was demonstrating that behind this wonderful creation is a maker. Any machine has a maker. This machine, did it just come about by some random allocation of materials to it? No, it was put together with a very scientific mind behind it. So we believe that God is the greatest scientist, putting together so many amazing things. This whole creation, design and order at the atomic or molecular or cosmic level, that has a hand behind it. Has a hand behind it. Even the late Stephen Hawking said, the more we examine the universe, we find it not arbitrary at all, but obeys certain well-defined laws that cooperate in different areas. It seems very reasonable to suppose that there may be some unifying principle. This is a wonderful world, wonderful nature, an amazing creation. It's just, we see order and systematic arrangement in the universe. It's so glorious. Sun rises every morning, sets every evening, as does the moon, without fail. With beads, for example, you can't see the thread, as Krishna says. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are thread on a string. So when you see a garland, a har of flowers, you can't see the thread. You can see the flowers. So in the same way, Krishna is describing that I am the thread. Although you can't see me, doesn't mean I don't exist. And there's a tendency to worship. Everybody has this tendency. We either worship, depending on our mode, which mode we're in. If we're in mode of goodness, we would worship the devatas. If we're in the mode of passion, we'd worship other human beings, superstars like film actors or sports stars. And if we're in the mode of ignorance, we'd worship ghosts and hobblings. If we're in the mode of pure goodness, we'd worship Vishnu and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But our tendency to worship ourselves is only defeated by a willing, active, and consistent worship of God. Otherwise, we'll be worshiping ourselves. I love this quote, brilliant quote. So, definition of God, definition of Ishwara. Who or what is God? Right? Who or what is God? There's a lot of confusion. Some say God is light, God is force, God is everything. You and I are even God, right? This is some philosophers. So what exactly is God? Let's have a definition of God. Okay, these are some definitions. God is the source of everything. This is in the Bhagavad Gita, verses 7:6 and 10:8. God is complete and perfect. God is the supreme controller. He's a supreme proprietor and enjoyer. He knows everything, omniscient. And this is a verse in the Vishnu Purana. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yasyasya shriya jnana vairagya chaiva sanambhaga itin gana. Full wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. These are the 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he has got 6 opulences. He's full of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renounced as well. That's the definition of God. So let's evaluate who is God. There's many people who claim to be God, especially in India. Every street corner has a God man. So do they meet these qualities, categories that we have discussed? So who actually is God? Well, Krishna declares himself that he is God, right? In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Aham Sarva Prabhavo, 10:8. in the Gita, there's many references of Krishna's position. Arjuna also makes the same declaration that yes, you are the Supreme Lord, as confirmed by the sages led by Narad. Is there one God or many gods? So there is actually one God with a capital G, but there are many gods with a small g. What does that mean? One supreme God, but many devatas who help him run the universe. That one supreme God, as we have discussed in the past, has many incarnations, many forms, different forms, but still one God. And the example is just like the king and the ministers. The king appoints ministers to rule the kingdom. God also appoints devatas to run the universe. So God appoints a prime minister. Brahma appoints a treasurer, like who's the treasurer of the devatas?
Is it Kuber?
Kuber. Yeah, very good. Well done. Well done. Excellent. Defense, like Lord Shiva, right? Or Kartikeya, in fact. Kartikeya. Yeah, that's good. Home is like home ministry would be Indra. I think Indra. Foreign affairs, so many would be there. Devatas. Work and pensions and health. What was his name?
Ayurvedic God. Who is it? Ayurvedic.
Yeah. Dhanvantari.
Dhanvantari.
Yeah, well done, Danivan, well done. So like that, God also appoints ministers to conduct the affairs of the universe. There you go. There you go. These are some of the personalities, great personalities. But they are more or less Jiva, except Shiva is in a category of his own, Shiva Tattva. Apart from Shiva, everybody else is a soul just like you and me, but very, very powerful, very, very advanced in terms of material prowess. And Krishna gives them further powers to do their work. What about the Trimurti? So, Trimurti is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Vishnu is like the God in the office, very formal. Krishna is the God at home. So with Vishnu, we can't joke around. It's very serious. Lakshmi Narayan worship is very serious. But with Krishna, he doesn't mind if the devotees bind him up with their love. What about Shiva? Shiva is actually the same as Vishnu. But when he is in touch with this material world, he becomes Shiva. When Vishnu is in touch with this world, he becomes Shiva. And the example given in the scriptures, Brahma Samhita especially, is curd and milk. The difference between curd and milk. So milk, when a curding agent like lemon or yogurt is added, becomes yogurt. So just like that, when this material world is added to Vishnu, he becomes Shiva. So it's pretty much the same. Milk and curd is the same. But milk and curd is also very different. Milk can become curd, curd can't become milk. So, and Brahma is just like us, as Jiva. And Brahma is a post, can be occupied by any qualified person. So just like one becomes a doctor by great deal of study and practice and application, one can also become Brahma, but it takes lifetimes. It takes years to become a doctor, but it takes lifetimes, 100 lifetimes to become Brahma. So this is the Trimurti. It's Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva. So now Brahma also declares, Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigrahana Adhi Radhe Govinda Sarva Karanam Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin. And he is the prime cause of all causes. So this is the wonderful prayers of Lord Brahma. These are such incredible prayers. Now, does God have a form, or is God impersonal? What about the expansions or the avatars? So the answer is God has a form, and he is also impersonal. He has also no form. From his form comes this great effulgence, which is regarded to be the Brahma Jyoti. So that part of God is impersonal, doesn't have a form. But the light, the effulgence comes from the form of the Lord. So ultimately, Gaudiya Vaishnava or Vaishnavas believe that God has a form which is superior to his formless aspect. And he has expansions. Millions and billions of avatars come from God. Unlimited. How to distinguish the real avatars? They're predicted in the scriptures. So any avatar who claims to be avatar is predicted in the scriptures. Like Kalki is predicted to appear. Buddha was predicted to appear in the Vedic scriptures, and he came. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is predicted in the scriptures, and he came 500 years ago. In the Padma Puran, he said, I shall take birth as a son of Sachi, assuming a golden form in a beautiful place on the bank of the Bhagirati Ganga, on the earth and the first part of Kali Yuga. How do we distinguish Vedanta? He performs extraordinary pastimes, which attracts everyone. The lifting of Govardhan for 7 days, 7 nights. And if one wants to appreciate this, one should go to Govardhan and see the most magnificent place, Govardhan, and see the wonderful Shilas which are there, and pray to them, please give me the realization that you were lifted one time by Krishna. He gives divine knowledge. Bhagavad Gita is the most incredible philosophy in the world. He shows his Virat Rup, his universal form, like he does in the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna asks him, please show me your universal form. Yes, sir, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, all the devotees. Where is this place exactly? The Govardhan Parvat, which you just now mentioned that you should go and visit it. So
Govardhan, in Vrindavan, in Braj Bhumi, which
it is still, are you saying it is still there?
Yeah, oh yes. Govardhan is still there. The hill is still there. It's 100 miles south of Delhi.
Okay, so if you want to go, you actually have to go there and do the darshan, yeah?
Have to do it. It's fantastic darshan. Fantastic darshan. And many devotees, they walk around Govardhan. Parikrama.
Parikrama, yeah. That's nice the way you are explaining. Must go one day. Thank you.
Yes, must. I will take you one day.
Yeah, God will fulfill our wishes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for asking. He also has a mission when he comes. Like he says, Yada Yada Dharmasya. I come because I want to re-establish religion and destroy religion. But the main reason he comes is that he wants us to remember him. He is remembering us all the time, but we've forgotten him. He wants us to remember him and become close to him again. That's the main mission of God, to remind us who he is, how sweet he is. He also has bodily signs on his palms and his soles of his feet. This is an idea of Krishna's lotus feet. Different symbols are on his lotus feet, like lotus flowers, sun. conch, the bow, the calf footprint, umbrella, swastika, fish, half moon, like this. Many, many symbols are there present on his lotus feet.
What's the triangle, please?
It's just a triangle. I mean, triangle. It's a very auspicious triangle, but I can't remember exactly. We've got somewhere a description of all of these and why they're present on his feet. One day I'll dig it out.
Yeah, and are this in this side, you know, like on the left side, there is a swastik. Then there is a four. Are they fruit?
Yeah, fruit as well. That's right.
Okay.
I think jambu. I think something like that.
Oh, jambu. Okay, thank you. And then this side is fish there.
Fish, yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
And different avatars have different, like Ram, he has similar, but a little bit less than Krishna's lotus feet. But they all have symbols, a little bit different.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And it's described that Krishna is the source of all the avatars. He's the avatari. And Brahma also chants, Govindam Adi Purush Tamaham Bhajami. So Govinda, you are the Adi Purush, the original personality. Tamaham Bhajami, I worship you. So now, is Krishna a Hindu god? No. Krishna or God is one for all. Just we know by different name. Just like water is known as Jal in Hindi, Pani in Gujarati, water in English, like that. The word Krishna means very attractive. Everybody is attracted to God. The word Allah means powerful. So Allah is also a name of Krishna, but it means all powerful. Is Allah all attractive? Yes. So God can be called Krishna as well. This is the point. But do not confuse Krishna with the Devatas. They're two separate. The Devatas are great devotees of Krishna. They help him in running the universe that we live in. All qualities of God are included in the name Krishna. Krishna is regarded as the greatest, the best name to recite, because just like a 50-pound note includes a 20-pound note and a 10-pound note and a 5-pound note, just like that, Krishna's name includes everything. In the Vishnu Sahasranam, it says 3 names of Ram. Now, 1 name of Ram is equal to 1,000 names of Vishnu. But also it goes further. 3 names of Ram are equal to 1 name of Krishna. So if we chant now 1 name of Krishna, that's like 3,000 names of Vishnu. So this is why we constantly chant the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We're very, very lucky. This mantra, we have it and we can chant it to the best of our ability and get very close to God. So I wanted to stop there. Any questions? Any comments? Surinder, any comments, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, everybody. Yes, very interesting, Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
And yes, with the description of Krishna, just like sometimes an example is given like somebody walking in the desert and somebody finds a wristwatch. So how did it appear there? Was there a big bang and then it appeared? So of course it was made by somebody and yeah, it was lost in the desert. So some people give this example that there is a mind behind every creation, even simple watch. So the big planets, we have the big mind of Lord Shri Krishna, like that. And yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's interesting, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Very good.
I agree with the Prabhuji, because what he said, like the God is creation, but every mind, each people has created everything, like you said, all electricity and everything, houses built, but everything is done by men. And where in the man, where that brain come from?
Exactly.
It's actually the God who has given the man that brain, and he's the one. I mean, then the man can create this, like the telephone, iPhone.
Yeah, correct.
So that's what I think. What Prabhuji said is true.
Spot on. Yeah, spot on.
Thank you. I believe it. Thank you.
Thank you. Madhuben? You're muted, huh?
Sorry. Yes, Prabhuji. When you described Bhagwan, Ishwara, about Ishwara, I couldn't understand about Shiva.
Good.
What actual his situation or position? Because
fantastic. Yes.
Because yesterday when you were teaching us 7 Krishna Dham and Vishnu Dham and whatever.
The abodes, yeah.
So she was in bottom somewhere, 3 or 4.
Yeah, Kailash.
We say lok, right. So actually, he is a Ishwar or
not? Good question. He is and he's not. Shiva Tattva is very difficult to understand. But the way we Vaishnavas understand Shiva Tattva is that he is the greatest Vaishnav, greatest devotee of God. If you look at him, whenever you see a picture, he's meditating. He's got mala, he's meditating. Who's he meditating on? He's actually meditating on Sankarshan or Ramachandra.
In Bhagavad Gita in beginning, they said Shankar was sitting and was in meditation. Krishna, Vishnu's Krishna or something. Right. He was meditate Krishna. So, but when we saw different way, yesterday we saw in different place. Today we saw him in a three face. One was Vishnu, one was Brahma, one was so actually, I was not sure. I'm not sure who is he.
He is not. Yeah, he's Vishnu, but in touch with this world. See, Vishnu doesn't have anything to do with material world. But when he does, he becomes Shiva.
That's when you said the dude, milk and yogurt.
That's it. Same. Very good. So actually, there's no difference. But because he's in touch with this world, there is a difference.
Oh, okay.
But we respect him. See, Shiva, there's no one like him. Because those people that have all been rejected by society, by anybody, Shiva gives them shelter. Shiva is so kind.
But still in our society, not now, in this country, I'm not sure about that, but in India, I just saw some people said, we don't believe, we are not a Shiv Panthi, we are Vaishnav. So we don't pray Shiv. It's a different, and
different line.
And that's why when I was listening to Shiv Yoga and Shiv Panth, all things, because of there's a meditation and yoga and all Saptasati Mataji stutis and everything. So I just believe that things as well. I not believe, but I wanted to learn about these things as well. So did I make a mistake to learn this?
No, it's good to learn, because main worshippers of Lord Shiva, they pray for him because he is Ashutosh, very kind. They pay for money. And Shiv Bhaktas are generally very rich because Shiva blesses them with wealth. But our idea is, we pray to Lord Shiva, please make us closer to Krishna. Because he's so close to Krishna himself. Please let us become closer to Krishna. So that's the idea, really. That's the mood.
Yeah. So this way, when you go in some offices somewhere, first you have to contact his clerk or his
right.
whoever.
That's it.
That's why I just clearing.
That's good.
You know, I just think, that's where I think, and I say, no, I'm not making mistake. But when I meet somewhere, something, I talking to you, so I just think, discuss with you, is it's wrong thing or we doing right thing?
No, it's good. It's good. It's always best to have good knowledge. Only thing is, we don't try to get anything from Shiva. Except his blessings. Please let me become closer to Krishna. Because he can easily give, but what we want.
So Mrutyunjay slok, is it normally is for Shiva, isn't it?
Which one?
Mrutyunjay slok. Not Om Bhurvara is Gayatri, another one.
Mrutyu jap.
Mrutyunjay.
Yeah. We
Mrutyunjay
don't.
It's a slok. Yeah, it's a slok.
In terms of sloks, we generally pray to Krishna or Vishnu. We don't necessarily do Shiv Jap. We don't do that. Because ultimately, what Shiva is doing, he's doing Vishnu Jap.
No, what about Om? I'm talking Om Trambakam Yajamay Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urva Rukme Bandhana and Mrityu Mukshya Mamrutat. So is jap is for, he is saving from death or?
I see. Yes, but ultimately there's only Vishnu who can save from death. Even when in Varanasi is Shiva's place, right? Varanasi. People who die there, Shiva comes and he chants the name of Ram into their name, into their ear. Why? Because only Ram or Vishnu can take us out of this world. So this is the idea, that we pray to Shiva to make us better devotees, because he himself is the topmost Vaishnava. So he is, Krishna is or Vishnu is the one who will take us out of this Mrityu Lok.
Yeah. So why people chanting that Mrutyunjay slok when the people are nearby death or just going, they think is now, there hasn't got much time. But they believe that slok help.
It will help, because Shiva, if they're genuine, Shiva will come and chant the name of Ram.
That's okay. So he does the dead things.
He can. But we go directly to the source, and that's Ram, and that's Krishna, that's Vishnu. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much. Very good.
Thank you. You sent me this today, this morning.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice to know this. Thank you, Madhuben.
Yeah, good discussion. Thank you for the questions, and
thank you, Prabhu.
So, anybody else? Any questions? Any comments? Otherwise, we can stop today. Okay. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai.